a grant-funded Lincoln County organization that works with the county commission to install septic systems in the Left Fork watershed of the Mud River. Originally, the project started as a way to clean the streams and tributaries of E. coli, and to date, I think we've installed close to 100 systems. In fact, this morning, most of the day I spent helping install a system on dog bones. So, well,
you work on the Brick McDonald?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Deal about this.
Yes. We actually have a little update just for you. You can kind of read over that in your spare time if you want, and then got some other handouts too. First, we'll start with just a financial update for Phase 4 so far. Sir? Okay.
Oh, wait, right here.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. If you look over here at the far left-hand column, the approved budget, up to date, this is Phase 4's approved budget. The total was the $759,760. Most of that, of course, was spent in construction for the systems. We actually spent some of that so far. We spent $266,510. And then we just recently requested another $59,854. So the total spent would be $326,364, and we've got $259,270 remaining. So that's construction costs. We're looking at, I think, about 3 more systems and maybe a UV light to do with that money. Total, what we're looking for this time around is like $61,637. We'll have remaining about $381,659. $381,659 left until the end of Phase 4 to run us. And that'll probably be, we're looking at maybe hopefully to finish a project by the end of May, beginning of June time period as of right now, something like that. Then we've also had some issues this last time around with leaking tank openings and adapter rings. This is the letter that we sent to both companies that we're using the manufacturer's products with that we kind of feel like haven't been very supportive in this whole endeavor. So we sent kind of an email just saying that, hey, we feel like we'd like you to work with us to find a solution towards this, and we're currently negotiating on what kind of support they're going to offer us coming up. And this is a copy of the email of that. And we've been dealing with this problem for a little while now. It's like we've got this problem where we put some adapter assemblies onto the openings of these tanks in order to get in and out of them more easily and quickly and efficiently. And we're finding that the manufacturer's products that we have are not working up to the part that we'd like them to. We have a lot of water infiltration coming in around the openings of the tanks. Basically what we do is we kind of dig auger holes on the outside, pour some dye into the holes and put some water in, and then watch to see if there's any dye infiltrating. And we found, some issues with most of the systems. We've got water infiltration coming in, and we kind of feel like that shouldn't be happening. So we're trying to find the solutions towards that, and we think we actually have a current solution as of right now, but we kind of feel like all the players involved need to be working towards the final solution. Because in a way, we're kind of, in a way, what we're doing is we're finding better sealants to seal it, but the way I see it is that's just going to be a band-aid to the bigger overall problem, which is like, if all of these tanks are being like this, what are the other septic systems that are going in? Are they leaking too? It's like, just because we as a project are checking that, we're finding that, but is that happening on a larger scale, and how that impacts, how septic systems work and if they are even actually cleaning the water. So that's kind of what we're working towards with that. But like I said, we're pretty confident that we found a solution as of right now, but we just want to kind of bring the attention to the manufacturers as well. Last but not least, got some good rounds of samples here. Part of the other thing we do in the project is we take samples from the systems as they come out through the pipe. We do direct discharge samples, which is straight from the septic system itself, and tributary sampling, which is the actual creeks and streams, and seeing what the health of those are. And they actually have been increasing well in the last, and that's due obviously to the fact that we're putting systems in that are effectively cleaning the wastewater. So I took a round of samples on October the 24th, and I think like almost all of them were good. So at least 2, 4, 5, 6. If you look to the far left column there, I got 4 on phase 1. So since we are in phase 4, we sample each phase, or try to get as many in each phase as possible as we're going along. I had 4 in phase 1. If you'll see, they were all below 10, which is great. The actual standard of the state is below 200 parts per million. Our standards are below 10, so that's what we like to see at all times.
Below 10.
Right. And then that estimate, it means like it's estimated that it's 9 parts per million equal. If you turn the page there at phase 2, I had 2 on phase 2. Both of those were below 10. Now on the last page, 1, 2, 5 of them were below 10. We had 1 that was high. Now, when I went to the homeowner to ask her what was going on, I checked the system. It looked okay. It didn't look like it was really bad off, but I went and talked to the homeowner to see what was causing that high reading. She's currently on chemotherapy, and someone else in the home is taking strong antibiotics. What we found in the past is if you have like real strong medications and real hard antibiotics, it will actually kill the good bacteria in the septic system, which is what causes the disinfection. So that's the reason that one's high. And I mean, you can't really tell somebody, not to do that. So we just kind of just watch it and wait until they're off the medication, hopefully at some point, and then the system usually bounces back. What we found in the past is if the system dies because of such a thing as chemotherapy, it takes about a month or 2 to rebound, and it's back to working order again.
Is there anything you have to add to that?
No. Actually, the systems are, you've got a septic tank, a pump tank, and then it pumps it into these things called peat modules, which is like this peat moss from Ireland. And, it's specifically ordered and flown in or whatever. It's real natural means.
That's what I was talking about. Do you have to do anything with that?
No. No. You don't have to add anything. In fact, we prefer not to add like Rid-X or, like there's products out there that you can pour in there, but we feel like that could be just as detrimental or damaging to the bacteria as the chemotherapy itself. So we prefer homeowners don't do that. Don't add that stuff. Yeah. But so other than that, it was really good. I mean, all the samples looked really well. And so that's good. That's what we like to see. So you guys have any questions for me or?
No, just, I guess, always concerned that all the players may not come to the table and help make this thing happen, and of course, the last thing you read from DEP is that's a concern they have.
Right. Yeah, it is one of my concerns right now. I mean, when we deal with manufacturers, what we really like to see is we like to see them willing to support their products 100% of the way, or willing to come out and be more involved. I mean, we had a little bit of involvement back in August. We brought all the players together, and they thought they had found a solution. But after the one that they retrofitted in August, we went back and dye tested that about a week or 2 ago, and it was leaking. So we thought, that seems to be an issue, especially if the manufacturers themselves came back and did it, and we kind of felt like, well, this is still looks like it's an issue, I mean, we're working towards using different sealants and things like that, but we're not really getting any other kind of answers, so we're just trying to get everybody involved as much as possible.
In these 2 or 3, I guess, these three phases you give us, your counts here, none of those are involved in this sealant that you're talking about?
No. It's all phase 4. It's all the new stuff.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah.
If the companies won't stand behind the product, why don't we change companies?
Well, I mean, that has been a consideration for phase 5. I mean, that's kind of what's hinging on. We're kind of like if we decide that, you know, we didn't get the support we were looking for, we have decided that we're looking at maybe using a different company. I mean,
Just like me, they would give 100% if it,
well, you know, the problem is there's multiple players all in the mix. Okay, you know, you got your contractors, which is the ones that install it and the ones who do the maintenance and everything like that. Then you've got the actual manufacturers themselves. You know, you've got the companies that make the tanks, and then the risers and the adapter assemblies. And unfortunately, when you get all these different players together, they tend to point the finger on who's got the blame, you know, whose fault it is. You know, you got the project too, who just wants the product to work. You know, we just want to see, we're not going to pay money for something that we don't feel are satisfied with, you know. And
But you know, the end result is the numbers that we get out of these tributaries prior to these projects is much, much improved on
It
what
is.
they were initially before we put these systems in. So even, you know, I don't like to see things not work either, but it's still a lot cleaner than what it was
it is
before.
100%.
So, but you know, I'm like him, you know, if I doctored the way these people put things in the ground, you know, I don't think very many people will be coming back for the services, and I think that's one of the risks they stand. You know, when they don't stand behind your product, you stand that risk of other people not using that product because it's not working.
It's
And as you alluded to before, the fact is this is not just happening here. This is happening wherever they're putting these things in the ground.
Right.
So this is this is just a problem you've identified that's you know, a much larger problem elsewhere too.
Right. Yeah.
And we are supposed to use different types of systems in order
That's
to
right.
see what works, what people can afford and all that.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're working towards the solution still. Thank you.